Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and I want to bring you today something different. This is the mystery of the missing eyeglass cases. No, it's not a murder, right? Not nothing ripped from the headlines. It's my own life. Missing eyeglass cases. And I'm pretty sure that you all have experienced something like that as well. Where did I put my keys? Where are my glasses? Where are my socks? Well, those just, that's just a sock ghost that takes those. But the other ones, suddenly they're just missing. And you're sitting there going, where could they be? And you try to figure it out. And for me, I've never had a time when I've lost all three of my eyeglass cases. Three. Okay, so I'm going to show you. I have this eyeglass case, which actually doesn't have glasses in it. Inside here, I have some credit cards and I have cash. Okay. And I use it as a little wallet, essentially. And so most of the time, I just take my phone with me, and this has my credit card and my license here. I just run in and out of places with just this. Okay. But in my bag, I carry this like eyeglass case with these extra things in it. And I have this eyeglass case, which has my trifocals or progressive glasses in it. And then I have this eyeglass case, which is for distance. Okay, so something for everything, right? No, wait a minute. Yeah, that's right. So anyway, so I have the three of these. How do you lose all three of them? So normally the three of them are in this bag. This is my daily bag. I just chuck things into. So, I throw things in here, and that's it. It's got nice. I take this for traveling. This is my favorite travel bag because it's actually hard for people to break into, and I've used this for traveling. It's light. You can fold it up, and you just fill it with all kinds of stuff, and it goes on your back. It's got the two straps, and you put it on your side. So it's really cool, and I love it for traveling. So, and for just every day, it's just very simple. Because I got to put things in it, like I had to put in, I might have to put in a binder with music in it or whatever, So I don't want to carry my nice purse, and I just throw it in here. I'll explain this in a minute, why this is important. So anyway, the last time I saw my glasses, I believed was on Thursday. And now Friday, Saturday had passed, and it was now Sunday. And I go grab my bag and reach into it, and all the eyeglass cases are missing. And I'm like, what the heck? How is this possible? I've never had that happen. And I'm like, they're not in here. And then I'm looking around my bedroom floor, see if they just fell out on the floor. And I'm like, all three? This is crazy. So now I'm like, okay, calm down. You're going to have to go back in time and go through the evidence and go through the different possible theories. So since I last saw them on Thursday, let me tell you what I did so that you can see each theory as it goes. On Thursday, I went to the senior center for a dress rehearsal for our chorale, which was singing Christmas music on Saturday. Following that, I drove home, and the cleaning ladies were there, and they're cleaning the house. On Friday, I went back to the senior center for my art class. And then on Saturday, I drove to the location where we were going to be doing our performance for the Christmas songs. That's it. So I'm like, all right, let's go back to the beginning. Now, on Thursday, I drove my little red car. That's my Mazda. And I took this bag in there with the binder with the music in it for the show. And what I did, which I always do, is chuck it underneath the seat that I'm sitting in where I'm singing, and chuck it under the seat. I thought, could they have fallen out there? And on Friday, I went to the senior center again to the art room, and I usually chuck it under the table. Could it have fallen out there? So first thing I did was a test. I opened up the zipper all the way, and I tried to make it fall out. And it just really didn't fall out. I mean, all three of them certainly didn't fall out. So I'm like, oh. So it doesn't make sense it would have fallen out. But I called the senior center and I said, hey, did anybody, turn in eyeglass cases to the lost and found? And they said no. Okay, so now I knew one thing. They didn't fall out at the senior center unless they fell out and somebody just stole them. I guess that's possible. So keep that in mind. And then I said, okay, then after Thursday, I came home and the cleaning ladies were there. So sometimes when the women are cleaning and sometimes there's a new person and I'm not going to be in like my bedroom or whatever and have that bag with me, especially the one with a couple $100 sitting in it. I just chuck it in the back of my closet in a place I know they're not going to even bother with. So so nobody gets tempted and I don't have to get angry with anybody. I thought, maybe that's it. So I went in my closet and I looked everywhere through it to see if the eyeglasses had fallen out, and they had not. And then I said, one time I was missing a hat. And the cleaning ladies I put it someplace I didn't normally put it, and they had put it away from me in a place I wouldn't ever look. But I did look there eventually and found it. I thought maybe they found these glass cases and they put them someplace. Where would they put them? Usually I would think they just put them on the table. That's would make sense, right? But just in case, I opened up the drawers in the kitchen. I'm opening up things, cupboards, looking every place, thinking maybe they just stuck them someplace. Couldn't find them. And of course, I might have stuck them someplace. I'm thinking, you never know. Maybe I'm just loopy. And, I checked the refrigerator. They weren't in there. If they were in there, then I have to make a phone call to the doctor. But they weren't in there. So now I think they're not in the house. So maybe they fell out in the car, right? So that was the next reasonable thing. And I drove on Saturday. First of all, I checked my car because that's what I was in on Thursday and Friday. So I go to the car and I open up the trunk because sometimes I chuck it in the trunk, right? And I go through the trunk, no eyeglass cases. And then for what it's worth, I looked under the front seats. I have only 2 seats in the car. And I checked the glove compartment just to see. And nothing there. So it's not in that car. So now I'm down to one day, Saturday. And Saturday, I went to sing, and I borrowed my daughter's car that day. And she has what does she have? A Charger. Okay, so a bigger car. And I thought, well, when I drove this, so now I'm looking at my thinking process. I drove to this place, and I was wearing a winter coat. And before we do the show, we have a green room. Just a room where we can all hang out until the show, and then we can leave things in that room, do the show, and then come back because I don't want people to bring things on stage, right? So I'm thinking, all right, what would I have done? What's the thinking process I would have used? Well, I would have probably said, don't bother to take the winter coat in there. Just put it in the trunk of the car. Just take your sweater, and you can leave that in the green room. And then I thought, well, I probably would have taken the bag. Sorry, that's a very noisy bag. The bag. Why? Because I would have the music in there and a bottle of water in there, and I would have taken the bag. So I thought, well, that's possible. And so, before I thought, okay, so let me just go check the trunk of the car. So I did check the trunk of the car. And then I noticed when I was checking the car that I had worn glasses to drive, and in the I'll show you in the middle of the between the console area, right? There is that thing that you can pull up and put your stuff in, right? And so normally my daughter just leaves it open, but sometimes it's shut. But anyway, in there I found one of my eyeglass cases. And I said, well, that makes sense. I got to the car, I pulled out one of the eyeglass cases, and I put the glasses on, and I dumped the eyeglass case in there. That makes total sense. But where are the other 2? This is still making no sense as where all of them would go. So then I'm thinking, all right. So they could have fallen out again in the at that location. So actually, I did call them to find out, since I didn't find it wasn't in the trunk of the car. It hadn't fallen out of the bag there, and it wasn't in it wasn't in here with the other eyeglass cases. So I called the place and I said, I was with a chorus there on Saturday, did anybody turn in eyeglass cases? And the answer was no. So I'm like, okay, now I'm down to just this one possibility, the green room. I said, did I actually take that bag into the green room with those eyeglass cases in it, the two of them, and somebody stole them? Because what else could it be? Except I said to myself, I usually do not do things like that. Just like when the cleaning ladies come, I don't leave out stuff that's expensive, like jewelry and stuff, not because I think they're crooks, just because why take chances, I don't want to be mad at anybody. So I'm thinking, I don't think I would have taken those in there. That's why I thought I would have left them in the trunk of the car with my coat, but they weren't there. And I'm thinking I wouldn't have taken them. But they weren't any place, and they weren't the lost and found. They weren't the lost and found at that location either. So at that point in time, I'm like, the only thing left is that they were stolen, but that makes no sense to me, because really, is somebody going to go? First of all, they try to, I think they try to keep that area safe when the people are at the concert part. And I'm like, would somebody really come in there? It's a whole bunch of older people with a whole bunch of like reading glass cases. I mean, really, would they reach in and say, oh, I can't wait to steal these reading glasses? Because that's what they probably think it was. It made no sense. And on top of that, there was an extra $20 bill that was just floating around in that bag. So I'm thinking, wouldn't they just taken that $20 bill? Who would take two the eyeglass cases? It made no sense to me. So anyway, I just said to myself, well, I have tried to solve this mystery. I have failed dismally. I can't figure it out, because it makes no sense to me, because I just don't believe I would have taken those two glass cases into the performance and left them in the green room. I don't think I would have done that. It doesn't appear they could have fallen out. Nobody's found them. So what the heck? So the next day, on Monday, my daughter says, can you pick up my granddaughter from school? And I'm like, sure. I get in the car and I go to plug in my phone. Remember, this is in this place, you pull that thing up, and I went to plug in my phone. But what I didn't know was that when you pull this thing up, if you put a separate type of, you grab it in a different way, there is a secret compartment. And that is what I did. And when I went to go pick up my granddaughter, and I pulled it up, and there were the two sets of eyeglass cases. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Although I've driven this car over and over again, didn't even know those things, that secret compartment existed, never seen it open. And then it made perfect sense, as I thought this is the way my brain would have worked. The regular glasses were here because I pulled it up. Pulled it up normally, threw it in there, drove to the place, came back. I guess I shut the thing, and when I came home, I just left it in there. But when I probably arrived at the music place, I don't know. I must have, somewhere along the way, I'm still trying to figure out quite how they got in the top spot, because I must have closed that at some point and then reopened it just to toss my glasses in, and never noticed that I was tossing them into the small compartment. So, this mystery is finally solved. But when you're trying to solve a case, even a case that's just your own case, you do have to go through each day. What do you remember? What were your actions? What were your behaviors? What are normal actions for you? What are normal behaviors? What would your thinking process be? And follow along for that entire process until you can come up with a proper answer. Now, I was correct that I did not take those into the where we were performing. I didn't take them with me for the exact reason I thought I wouldn't have taken them with me. It's just that I guess I said, oh, pull the thing up and chuck them in, and never noticed it was shallow as opposed to deep, because I'd never known it was there. So at least by my process of thinking was correct, although I was really lucky to find them because I asked my daughter, I said, I told her the story. I said, you got the secret compartment. She goes, yeah, I forget it even exists. And I'm thinking, do you know how long I might have gone never finding those glasses simply because neither one of them pulled neither one of us pulled that thing up and put anything in that particular spot. Could have been weeks, or months. So I guess got lucky that I pressed the thing in the correct way. The magic opening of that compartment, or I wouldn't have found them for a really long time, and it would have driven me crazy. But luckily, I did manage to solve the mystery in a fairly short amount of time. But I think purely my thinking was correct, but luck still helped that I just did it the right way. So anyway, I hope this helps you find your missing eyeglass cases, find your missing keys, go through your behaviors and your thought processes and all the possibilities, because you got to keep them open, because you never know. Something else could have happened to those eyeglass cases. But it made sense to me that I thought to myself, I should have noticed if they were missing on Thursday, Friday, or on the way to this place. I should have noticed they were missing, one would think, but yeah, sometimes we do get busy in our lives and we get distracted. So and then we have trouble remembering back. I'm thinking, what did I do? Where was I? What was I thinking? So because life can get very busy. So I hope this helps you solve your own mystery. And not sometimes profiling is useful to us as it is to detectives and profilers working on a actual criminal case. But we have our own lives to live. In any way that we can make it easier, it helps. Anyway, I just thought you might find that amusing. Thank you for being here. If you're new to the channel, please do like and subscribe. And if you're new to the channel, you're like, what the heck was this? Well, this is unusual. Normally, obviously, I'm doing criminal cases, but I just thought it was fun. And so thank you for being here. Do subscribe. Bye.